comfortable in your own skin. Well, that's a real, that's a really difficult thing to get to, I think, for anybody. I think it's really great when you can. It may be possible. It may be true that artists, creative people, have a harder time getting to that point of being comfortable. Again, just because you're always kind of nagged at the possibilities that you might not be able to fulfill. But I also think that comfort in your own skin is also, frankly, it's a function of age. Like, because I think about the way I was in my 20s and my 30s and even in my 40s was that I was all about striving. There was stuff I wanted to do. There were things I wanted to achieve. There were things undone in my life that needed to be done. And and you have this huge amount of energy to do it too. Like it's libidinal energy essentially and you can stay up all night and do and work hard and you put in 80-hour weeks if you have to. You've got that capacity to do it, and you've got the sort of the drive to make an impact and also to form yourself, figure out what you are, and fulfill what you believe are your potentials. And you do that, and you sort of see where it gets to. And it's a little bit like a rocket, you get the booster rocket, and depending on where it's pointed, you get into an orbit, and then by about your 50s, you hit the orbit you're going to get, and you realize, oh, this is my orbit. this is my. I got no more booster engines, so I got two choices. I can be annoyed with this, or I can go, this is who I am. And when you're 50, and get comfortable with it, right? And it sounds really facile now that I'm saying, but honestly, I think it's true that you grow out of that itching need to be, and you get to a spot where I think maybe not everybody does. I feel lucky that I actually am in that spot. Yeah. This may be a guy thing, maybe it's women too, but careers have a trajectory, and there's that point in your life when you realize that whatever the major goals you had, you've probably achieved them. I'm not going to win a Cannes Lion. I just am not at this stage. It's like my career has gone in a place where that's simply not going to happen.
And you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that. What the hell?
Really? I thought you were this ambitious. I'm going to do...
Well, yeah. If you talked to me when I was 35, that'd be a whole different deal. What do you mean? I got to go. But, but the other thing about having a longer career is you get to look back and say, sort of like your old portfolio, well, you know what? That was actually pretty good. And I've had the good fortune with the teaching thing, which, by the way, I never had any intention of doing. It's a complete amateur teacher. Although one of my former girlfriends, when I got the offer from Humber, and I was thinking about, I don't know if I want to do it. She said, "Don't be an idiot. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're always supposed to do."
Oh, okay. Foreshadowing right there.
Okay. All right. Anyway, just to say that in the course of doing this thing, which was like building this program, I essentially got to fulfill what were my entrepreneurial dreams around building an agency, but instead building a program that turned into a talent factory. So I kind of get to live vicariously through the success of my students, who I can claim this much credit for at least putting them on the path to success. So, I don't really have anything of a portfolio anymore, but I feel like my students are now my portfolio.
Yeah.
Right. So, and there's an immense amount of satisfaction in that. And it's a satisfaction that I never would have anticipated that I would have wanted or cared about when I was 35, but I'm 60, and I look at that and I go, yeah, you know what? That's actually pretty good. I can say that in some tiny little way, I feel like I've made a bit of a contribution somewhere here.
So would you tell like young people who are ambitious going for it that, or anyone, I guess, like that you're going to get all these rewards looking back on life? The goal with this kind of is to talk about people who've been through it, and a lot of fog of war. At 17, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really I didn't know I was going to go into this program. My mom dragged me to Humber and she said, you're going to look at graphic design, package design, and advertising. And I chose advertising. Yeah. But if you ask a 17-year-old me, I'd be like, I don't know. I've played a lot with Premiere and Photoshop. I like the ideas of ads. Like looking back, no regrets. But I feel like a lot of people my age and at that age are looking forward, being like, I don't want to make the wrong move.
Yeah.
Because then I'm going to be somewhere where I didn't want to be, right? And that's why I kind of started with that whole 10-year plan.
Right. Yeah, and again, a couple of things. One is I think it's fantastically unfair to put that kind of pressure on a 17-year-old. And I feel this every time we have an open house and we get these poor kids. I mean, the last one we did, this poor kid was dragged out to these, pushed in front of me by his parents. And, like he's, I said, what are you into? And of course the parents say, oh, he's all into this and that. And I'm just thinking, you know what, let the kid talk, And I just feel like you're putting so much pressure on this kid to make a decision about what they want in their life. And they come on, give it some space. I think there's actually a kind of a balance on this thing, which is that, yes, have a plan. Yes, figure out some goals, but give yourself some space to decide what those goals might actually be. And that means play. That means explore. That means fuck around with stuff, try things, do different stuff. It's a little bit like, the way the whole marks thing drives me crazy in school, right? I've always kind of been unhappy with having to put a number beside somebody's work, because I think, well, what are you working for? Are you working for the number, or are you working for figuring something out about yourself? Right? Because that working for the number is stupid. Because for the rest of your life, not one single person is going to come to you at your desk at work and say, your work this week was a 68. We really like to see it at 75. That just doesn't happen. Come on. School is stupid and artificial in that way. But if you give yourself a little bit of liberty to play and explore and be prepared to fail and accept that failure is sometimes really useful. No one picks up the tuba and plays it perfectly. What do? All you do is fail. You fail and fail and fail and fail and fail until you get better. And which I feel this. I almost feel like we're in this sort of contradictory thing. But make a 10-year plan, but be prepared to fail. But yeah, and the whole paralysis of choice. Oh my God, I don't want to make the wrong choice because I could end up. And honestly, all I can say about that is nobody gets the plan.
Okay, I like that.
Nobody gets this. I think maybe a profession where you get to plan that way is, I don't know, if you want to be a family doctor, sure, right? Yeah. Where the path is laid out for step by step by step by step by step, right? And even at that, who knows what type of medicine you might go into, right?
Or if you'll be happy doing that.
Or if you'll be happy doing that, because that's the other thing. It's you make this hard decision and you commit yourself to it. And what if you're 8 years into a medical degree and you realize, I actually don't like this?
Yeah, because it sounds like you don't regret. I mean, you said you don't regret any of it, but you didn't have that plan changed so much that you were kind of, like you said, having fun with it. I saw the boring books. I'm going to move on to something else. I saw this company I wanted to build, and then I saw this other thing with teaching, and you kind of bounced around like that playing.
Yeah. Well, again, it was, part of it is expediency, and part of it is recognizing an interesting opportunity that turns your crank. And honestly, the only reason I got involved with Humber is because I looked at what was going on. I realized there is no elite ad school in Canada. It didn't exist. It's okay, for me as an entrepreneur, this is gold, because I get a chance now to build this from the ground up with total greenfield, right? Greenfield, Blue Sea, whatever you want to call it, right? Because no one else is doing this. I mean, Humber had a copywriting program. That was basically it.
Wow.
And, so it's hey, great, we can do this and make something that wasn't there before. And And for me, that was adequate compensation because I was building something again.